Hello everyone, welcome to Tale Time. Here we will be reading the greatest stories of our times, and about legends, dragons, could be about little girls going into the forest. Like tonight, because tonight we will be reading a fantastic story about Red Riding Hood, or as she was actually called, Redcap. But, so, now it's time to read in Tales of the Times. Shall we begin? Well, let's see here. Which pages, right? Can never remember. Oh, yes, here we are. Are you ready? Little Redcap by the Brothers Grimms. Not sure if they're actually brothers. Might be. Or it could just be a very interesting, legend thing. I don't know. I do like them. Anyway, once upon a time, there was a sweet little girl who was loved by everyone who looked at her. Oh, fancy that. And most of all, by her grandmother. There was nothing that she would not have given the child. Once she gave her a little cap of red velvet, which suited her so well that she would not wear anything else. So she was always called Little Redcap. One day her mother said to her, "Come, Little Redcap, here's a piece of cake and a bottle of wine. Take them to your grandmother, she's so ill and weak, and they will do her good. Set out before it gets hot." Oh well, before it gets hot. Walk nicely and quietly. Do not run off the path, or you may fall and break the bottle. Then your grandmother will get nothing, she said. When you go into her room, don't forget to say good morning. And don't stop to peep into every corner before you do it. I'll take great care, said Redcap to her mother, and gave her hand on it. The grandmother lived in the woods, half an hour distant from the village. And just as Little Redcap entered the woods, a wolf met her. Redcap did not know what a wicked creature he was, and was not at all afraid of him. "Good day, Little Redcap," said he. "Thank you kindly, Wolf." "We were away so early, Little Redcap." "To my grandmother's." "What have you got in your apron?" "Cake and wine. Yesterday was baking day, so poor sick grandmother is to have something good to make her stronger." "Where does your grandmother live, Little Redcap?" "A good quarter of an hour further away in the wood. Her house stands under 3 large oak trees. The nut trees are just below. You surely must know it," replied Little Redcap. The wolf thought to himself, "What a tender young creature. What a nice plump mouthful. She will be better to eat than the old woman. I must act craftily as to catch both." He walked for a short while by the side of Little Redcap, and then he said, "See, Little Redcap, how about the pretty flowers there are about here? Why don't you look around? I believe too that you do not hear how sweetly the birds are singing. You walk gravely if you were going to school, while everything else in the wood is merry." Little Redcap raised her eyes, and when she saw the sunbeams dancing here and there through the trees, she thought, "Suppose I take grandmother's a fresh nosegay, that would please her too. It is so early in the day that I shall not still get there in time." So she ran from the path into the wood to look for flowers. And whenever she had picked one, she fancied that she saw a still prettier one just a bit further ahead, and ran after it, and thus got deeper and deeper into the woods. Meanwhile, The wolf ran straight to the grandmother's house and knocked on the door.
"Who is there?"
"Little Redcap," replied the wolf. "She is bringing cake and wine. Open the door."
"Lift the latch," called out the grandmother. "I am too weak and cannot get up."
She does sound pretty weak, doesn't she? The wolf lifted the latch, the door flew open, and without saying a word, he went straight to grandmother's bed and devoured her. Oh God, this is a bit scary, isn't it? It's a bit scary. Then he put on her clothes, dressed himself in her cap, and led himself in the bed and drew the curtains. Little Redcap, however, had been running about picking flowers. When she had gathered so many that she could carry no more, she remembered that she had to go to her grandmother's and set out on her way to go to her. She was surprised to find the cottage door standing open, and when she went into the room she had such a strange feeling that she said to herself, "Oh dear, how uneasy I feel today. And at other times I like being with grandmother so much." She called out, "Good morning," but she received no answer. So she went into the bed and drew back the curtains. There lay her grandmother with her cap pulled far over her face and looking very strange. "Oh, grandmother," she said, "what big ears you have."
"The better to hear you with, my child,"
was the reply.
"But grandmother, what big eyes you have." "The better to see you, my child."
"But grandmother, what large hands you have."
"The better to hug you with."
"Oh, but grandmother, what a terrible big mouth you have."
"The better to eat you with."
And scarcely the wolf said this, and with one bound he was out of bed and swallowed up Redcap. Oh, goodness gracious. He took them both the grandmother and now Little Redcap. What will happen? When the wolf had satisfied his appetite, he lay down again in the bed and fell asleep and began to snore very loud, like this. You know, those really, really big snores. The huntsman was just passing the house and thought to himself, "How the old woman is snoring. I must see what she wants, if she wants anything." So he went into the room, and when he came to the bed, he saw the wolf lying in it. "Do I find thee here, thou old sinner?" said he. "I have long sought thee." Then, just as he was going to fire at him, it occurred to him that the wolf might have devoured the grandmother, and that she might still be saved. Smart man, that huntsman, isn't he? So he did not fire. He took a pair of scissors. No, I don't have any scissors, but you know, yes, precisely, the scissors. So he took the scissors and began to cut open the stomach of the sleeping wolf. He must sleep very, very heavily. When he made 2 snips, he saw the Little Redcap shining, and then he made 2 snips more. And the little girl sprang out, crying, "Oh, how I was so frightened! I have been so frightened in here. It's dark, and it was horrible inside the wolf." And after that, the aged grandmother came out alive, also, but scarcely able to breathe. Redcap then quickly fetched great stones, with which they filled the wolf's stomach with. And when he awoke, he wanted to run away. But the stones were so heavy that he tumbled down at once and fell dead. Then all 3 were delighted. The huntsman drew off the wolf's skin and went home with it. The grandmother ate the cake and drank the wine which Redcap had brought and grew strong again. But Redcap thought to herself, "As long as I live, I will never leave a path to run into the wood when my mother has forbidden me to do so." And that was the story of Little Redcap, or as many of you know it, Little Red Riding Hood. So, join us next time for Tale Time.